What is up, people here, out there, everywhere on the internet? My name is John Crump. I'm the Virginia Director of Gun Owners of America. I am also an investigative firearms journalist. I deal in all stuff ATF and the government. I dig deep and I get inside sources and I keep them on their toes. I love poking the bear. Yes, yes. All right. With that said, Richard should be joining us in a second. I just want to remind everyone out there that I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/John Crump to help support the channel. You can also click that little join button below and join the channel and help us out a lot. Or you can just like, comment, and subscribe and share this video far and wide if you're watching this on the replay or if you are, yeah, I see VA Wolfi here. He's a sub, Patreon, and BCDL member, and also a neighbor. That is always good. We are brought to you by our two sponsors. One is Tusk. Tusk is the only gun friendly cryptocurrency in the world. And with that, let's roll the commercial.
Proudly sponsored by TUSC, the only cryptocurrency designed with the firearms market in mind, with 3-second processing times. It's the fastest cryptocurrency on the planet. With lower transaction fees than traditional credit cards. It's perfect for your e-commerce needs. For gun guys, by gun guys. Visit TUSC.network for more information and join the digital revolution.
You like that video? I did that commercial. That's all me, man. All me. I also see gorillas and guns out there. I also want to play and thank my other sponsor, Black Swan Tactical. They sell t-shirts and everything else. And I feel really weird about thanking Black Swan Tactical because I kind of own it. Also, I see Shooting Gallery New England out there as well. So without further ado, let's play that.
Black Swan Tactical, your #1 source for 2A streetwear. With shirts, mugs, hats, patches, flags, and more. There's always something to help you rep the 2A community. All proceeds go back into our projects. Viewers and listeners can take an additional 10% off with code CRUMPY. Unapologetically pro-gun, pro-liberty, and pro-freedom gear for the front lines of the culture war.
And with that said, let's go ahead. We can go ahead and start the show as we wait for Rich to come on. I am still suffering from COVID, so that kind of sucks, right? COVID, yay! Nobody likes COVID. Basically, I'm just locked in here. See Joe Drag out there. Joe Drag is a member of the channel. He hit that little subscribe button and he joined. I am washing the shirt that he gave me as we speak, and I'll be wearing it on one of the shows next week. He gave me an awesome shirt to promote his business. If you don't know Joe Drag, he is an awesome guy. All right, let's go ahead while we're waiting for Rich because he's stuck on a conference call. We're gonna watch a couple things and we're gonna discuss it, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here, and boom. This is not what I wanted to show you. That's awesome. Let me just all right, here we go. That's better. All right. So this guy right here, you know what? I'm gonna do something else. Let me just go ahead and stop. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you're not gonna see it, but you will be able to hear it. So let me just do this. I'll just share tab. Here, boom. All right. So let's go ahead and watch this. Okay, I don't want to do this one. I want to do the other one first. So let me go ahead. Sorry, guys. The other one I'm gonna do first is here. All right. All right. This one is kind of a funny one. and I want to get your guys' opinion on this. So let me go ahead and share that screen over here. Application window. Why do I keep going back to the wrong one? Come the F on. Here. Boom. And it did it again. I see what I did. All right, hold on, guys. It's gonna take a second here. Just do it this way. I uploaded over top of something, so
Machine guns require 2 people to shoot them, right?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, it requires ATF today, then it goes through, this is only private party
You have to have
sales.
2 people to shoot a machine gun.
No, Mr. Chairman. One person can shoot a machine
I
gun.
was taught in the Marines that you need 2 people to shoot a machine gun. One guy is guiding.
That's a belt feed.
Well, no, it can't feed itself. Yeah, but then you got a problem if you. Anyway, you need really 2 people to machine guns that I was taught to shoot. Okay, anybody else?
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, go ahead. 50 caliber machine gun. 50 caliber, yeah, that's what I use. Okay, Senator Morrissey, you got a question?
Thank you.
all right, right there. If you haven't seen that, it is a Virginia senator stating that the Marine Corps taught him how to use a machine gun. And if you didn't hear, people in the background tried to tell him, no, that's not how it works. And then, unfortunately, he doubles down and says, no, this is how you shoot a machine gun. My thing is, what the hell is that all about? I have no idea, but the guy is, and here it is. Hold on, let me show you this video I did on this guy because it is kind of hilarious. All right, share screen. All right, here we go. This is the one I did. All right. With that said, let's go ahead and remove that. I don't know. With that said, what do you guys think of that? Do you think no sound really? Are you serious? All right. Basically, he said shooting a machine gun requires two people, and when somebody said, "No, you're thinking about belt fed," his answer was, his answer was, "No, it isn't going to feed itself." So then he claimed that that's what the Marine Corps taught him. I called a Marine recruiter today. Actually, I called a couple. Basically, the results are the same. I said, do the Marines teach that machine guns always require two people to shoot?" The answer I got was the Marine recruiter laughing at me and then hanging up on me. I had to do my due diligence as a reporter, and apparently he didn't think that I was serious, but I was serious. And yet they hang up on me. I don't get it. This is one of the guys that are making gun laws. Basically, what SB 1430 did in Virginia was remove a double background check. Whenever you buy a firearm through the NFA privately, because of the universal background check bill, everything got all screwed up. So legally, you're supposed to go through a background check twice. Once when you once when you purchase the item at the point of purchase, the point of sale, you're supposed to go through a background check. And the second time, well, they had some machine guns back in World War II, guerrillas and guns. You had the STGs, and you had the Thompsons, and you had the grease guns and all those. But now you made me lose my train of thought. Okay, back to this. Back to this bill. SB 1430. What that was supposed to do is remove the double background check because of the universal background check law that passed in Virginia. When you buy a NFA item, you're supposed to go through a background check at the time of sale, and also at the transfer. Basically, since it's an NFA item, it makes you, if you buy it privately, it makes you do uh, two tax stamps, two Form 4s, which is $400 and $200, and it like doubles your time, and you have to go through two background checks. This is supposed to fix that, but Senator Edwards had no idea what a freaking machine gun was, for one, and more dangerously, there is another guy. If you go to if you go to John Crump, if you go to Rich is coming in, if you if you go to John Crump News, you can check it out. Another guy named Scott Somerville said that he doesn't. He wants gun owners to jump through hoops, and he doesn't want less barriers to gun ownership. He wants more barriers to gun ownership. So that is one of the things that was very scary. You have a Democrat in the Virginia Senate who is admitting that they don't want people to have guns. Rich, I see you out there trying to get on, but it says your device is not connected. All right, there he goes. So yeah, so he's very honest with what he's saying, and it's not only this guy; it's other guys around the country and other states and in the national stage that wants to uh, add barriers and make gun owners jump through hoops because they think that that is a way to stop gun ownership. And it's not about making us safer, it's about stopping gun ownership at the end. If you look at some of the bills that Joe Biden wants to do and some of the stuff coming down from Joe Biden also says that he wants to go after ghost guns. In fact, there was an article yesterday from a leak that is saying that he is going to issue a executive order on ghost guns. I know what the executive order is going to say. It's going to try to change the definition of a firearm in ATF without actually changing the definition of firearm. So, like you saw with bump stocks, they aren't going to go through and make a new rule or pass a new law. What they're going to do is they're going to take an existing rule that's on the book, is existing regulation, and they're going to reinterpret it. What they're going to do is they're going to reinterpret the words readily convertible to fire a projectile. Right now, that means a gun, right? They're going to try to expand the definition of 3D printed guns and also um, also like 80% lowers and everything. I was talking to Cody Wilson last night, in fact, and he agrees. He thinks that's coming down. So Cody Wilson and I keep in contact every few days. We exchange information. He does believe that's going to be coming down. There's going to be a statement put out by a few different companies and a few different groups coming out soon. Just keep an eye out for that. I know what they're working on it right now. Uh, it's really ridiculous what they're going to do. So if the 3D printed firearm is going to be readily convertible to fire a projectile. So if you have a 3D gun and you want to print out a Glock, what's up, Judd M? If you want to print out a Glock, I guess when you think about it, according to Joe Biden, once you think about it, that 3D printer must become a gun. Rich is still trying to get in. I don't see you. I should just kick you, Rich. Rich is still trying to come in, but his devices aren't connected. I have no idea what you are doing, Rich. But yeah. So they're going to use a reinterpretation of the law. What do you guys out there think about Biden issuing executive orders and reinterpreting laws or rules? Trump did that with the bump stock, so you can't really say too much about that. Let's see what Rich is here. He rebooted his phone. Rich has decided to give up Android, so he's choosing I guess a Linux phone because he's kicking Google, I guess. Another thing that is going on into the gun world, but I am completely against it. So VA Wolf is a completely against it. Curls and Gun says yes, he is a tech guy. If you can tell, I am killing time here. All right, let's go on to HR. Yeah, Joe Drag says they're overstepping their authority a little bit, and I 100% agree. They definitely are. I want to go on to a bill that everyone's talking about, HR 127. I keep on reclassification by rule change is 100% Jason King. 100%. I got an article coming out about that tomorrow, actually. Okay, I want to go into HR 127. HR 127, I keep on getting pinged by about people with it. And I've talked about this multiple times, and Gun Owners of America have talked about this multiple times. I'm going to tell you straight up, HR 127 is not going to pass. It's not even going to committee. It doesn't have a single co-sponsor, which means it is dead. They can't even get someone like AOC to co-sponsor it, so you know it is dead. You know it's a bad bill, and it will not get through. I do see a lot of pro-gun organizations making posts about HR 127 and other people rattling the cages about HR 127. Just know that Rich is bald and and if HR 127 is not going to pass at all, it's not going to get to committee. It's going to be dead. Anyone you see saying, "Hey, donate money to us to help us fight HR 127," I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's even GOA fans. Don't give them money because I mean, you can give them money, but if you're only concerned about HR 127, then you don't need to be concerned because it's not going anywhere. It's a distraction. Let's keep the pressure on people like Manchin to save the filibuster. Then we don't have to worry about HR 27 or anything else. That's going to be the key. Save the filibuster. Don't worry about HR 127. Let's concentrate on the filibuster, saving the filibuster right now. If that goes, we're doomed. And with that said, Rich,
I'm here.
no, you know what? You got rid of your Google phone. Are you using your Linux phone? Or are you back to
No,
Google?
no, actually, all right. So my buddy sent me a Pine phone, but I think it got to Florida the day I left. So I'm still using my Android phone, but for whatever reason, the StreamYard link through Instagram wasn't good. I copied it and pasted it into my Vivaldi browser on my phone, and it worked fine. Hey, VA Wolf.
Via it's one of my neighbors.
One of your neighbors? Yeah, and he still talks to you?
I guess. I don't know. Most of my neighbors don't.
So, John, was
I don't think he lives directly in my neighborhood.
Oh, okay. All right.
None of those neighbors talk. Oh, I got one neighbor that talks to me.
Yeah, but that's the crazy neighbor.
No, he moved. It's another neighbor.
He moved? So the bright yellow letters on my van that said free candy and ammo, that was highly successful.
Yeah, he tried to kidnap me, but I did a barrel out of the car and ran down the LIE, the Long Island Expressway.
Drop, tuck, and roll. Yeah.
Yeah, then I swum across Lake Ronkonkoma.
He's like commando style.
Yeah, ran across the runways of MacArthur Airport, all the way down Ocean Boulevard.
Yeah, I've actually walked down the runways of MacArthur Airport because I was pushing my airplane after I had a brake failure.
I don't know. Did you get a chance to see the thumbnail?
For today's show, I so barely got to see it. Why, was it a plane crash?
Maybe.
Did you look up one of my plane crashes?
Yeah, I believe Rich is the guy that gave me COVID.
I had COVID like months ago.
You know what? John Crump, now you got COVID. What are you gonna do next? I'm going to Disney World. I am. Well, last night we're like, we have antibodies. Let's go. So we're going in April.
Well, your wife's got the vaccine. What about your kids?
They had it.
Okay.
So everyone's had it. So we all have antibody for the next 90 days.
I missed the thumbnail. I clicked into it.
That's all right. Although my wife's friend did have the vaccine, and now she has COVID.
Ooh, that's not good. Now, that's tough to make out. It does look like it's a Cessna 172, like nose down.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
All right. Question of the day. How do you think Tiger Woods wrecked his GV80? He wrecked his Genesis GV80.
GV80?
Yeah.
How many days old is that GV80?
I don't know. That's what he was driving.
I thought Genesis just announced that.
I know they just released it.
Yeah.
Wow. So he had one. And he rolled it off into a ditch through a bunch of trees.
Well, his
on a straight road.
His former wife wasn't around with a set of golf clubs trying to rescue him this time, was she?
No.
Because you know the story, right? It was funny. I was living in Jupiter at the time. I think it was Christmas time.
Romani. Shout out to Romani. Good guy out there.
Which Tiger was... The story came out, and like he was probably 10, 12 miles straight line from where I was living. Like poor people live in Jupiter, the wealthy people live in Jupiter Island, So when I heard the story that he rolled his SUV going out of his driveway on his house in Jupiter Island, and his wife rescued him by breaking the windows open with golf clubs, I'm like, yeah, that's not what happened. So I guess the question, first off, I'm making horrific jokes about a guy that had a horrible accident, and my heart goes out to him, especially somebody, he fractured tibia plateau and all that bit. I actually fractured my tibia plateau in the first plane crash. And technically, you never walk again if you fracture your tibia plateau. So my heart goes out to him. I'm sorry for making gallows humor about his accident, but
Yeah.
he sounds like he's in real tough shape as far as it sounds like he's going to survive, but it sounds like his legs are really messed up. And a tibia plateau accident is typically caused from a car accident. My accident was an airplane accident because I had my foot on the left rudder pedal, and when the left wing was torn off the plane, it drove the rudder pedal back and actually drove my knee through the instrument panel of the plane.
How'd you crash your plane the first time?
That plane was fuel injected, and apparently, if you go typically on any plane when you go to land, you go full rich on it on the mixture, and
you never go full rich.
and apparently that fuel injection system, when you go full rich in near idle, has a tendency to flood the engine, and it'll be tough to restart. So the only thing I didn't try on restarting the engine, like when you flood a fuel injected engine on an airplane, you go full lean, full throttle, and that'll clear the flood.
Were you in the air?
Yeah. Well, it's tough to crash when you're on the ground, and I wasn't in somebody's neighborhood.
I don't know, man.
You think I was just tooling around the neighborhood, you know?
No, you can crash, like, if you go off the runway.
Yeah, well, I guess, yeah. Yeah, but I was like a mile from the airport, so.
Oh, wow.
But that crash, as far as scared goes, let's just put it this way. Your adrenaline's pumping. All of the stereotypical things that happen during I don't want to say panic situation, because you panic, you die. That's the short of it. Like any kind of situation like that, it's up to you to solve the problem and make for the best possible outcome. So, let's see. I feel it for you. Broken neck. Oh my God. Wow, that's a heck of a story. But yeah, was I shaken up like mad and all that bit? Absolutely. And scared. It's almost like you don't have time enough to be scared. It's you're working the problem. And don't get me wrong. I get scared. Like I have an IT problem. I get scared. We actually, I had nothing to do with it, but I was part of the team trying to like be a help where we had a number of servers go down today. I probably shouldn't talk about that, but nobody knows where I work anyhow. So unless John rats me out.
I have no idea where you work, so I can't
good.
really I can do some research really quick and figure it out.
Yeah, we had a major incident today. So anyhow,
okay, let me answer this question really fast. 2276, will it affect me making my own 1911? If you buy everything to make it and make it before the law goes into effect, you're still good on the law because 2276 now has a grandfather clause, which kind of makes the law useless because that's about 3D printing firearms in Virginia.
Okay, is that Virginia? Yeah.
Yeah, or also you 8% lowers and kits. So basically, if you have one now, you're okay. You just can't do it in the future. But they're unserialized firearms, so if I 3D so right now I'm just telling the government, if you're listening, I have 3D printed 7,000 Glocks, and I think I'm clear for the next few years.
So what you're saying is I need to get my 3D printer set up and like going like mad?
No, this is in Virginia.
Well, just in case, what is it? What's the federal government? They got a couple of bills going.
Yeah, Biden's gonna make a announcement. I talked to Cody Wilson last night about it.
Yeah, John's good at name dropping stuff like
I'm
that.
not name dropping.
Okay. Hold on. Where's my?
Yeah. I mean, no, I was hooking him up. I don't think I should say what I was hooking him up with. That would be really name dropping.
Oh yeah. When you're in a private chat with John, he name drops like mad.
I don't name drop like mad. You ask me questions and I answer questions. You're like,
all right. If all of you out there only knew how cool John Crump was, let me just say that.
I'm not cool. I just have a superpower of knowing people.
Let's see. Is Cody Wilson's last 4 digits of his phone number still 9680?
Let me see. I don't know.
Actually, I had him on the Linux Link Tech Show, what podcast I do actually on Wednesday nights. I don't know if I'll be on tonight.
No, but I was talking to Cody Wilson about the. Yes, it is. No, I was talking to Cody Wilson about the Biden. He asked me if he texted me the article, and he wanted to know what's going on. So I reached out to some of my contacts, and I found out that the Biden's going to change the definition, not change the definition of firearm, but instruct the ATF to consider 3D printed firearms and 80% lower stuff and 80% frames as easily convertible to fire.
But all right, first off, there's no. It is funny, in aviation we have the same thing. They call the 51% rule. Well, the FAA doesn't say 51%; it says major portion. And if I'm correct, the ATF laws say, right? It's like easily convertible. Is that the language?
Easily convertible. So they're gonna like claim Chevron deference and be like, oh, it's easily convertible.
So
I got a bunch of plastic here. It's easily convertible.
I've got plastic, electricity, and a thing that goes like this, like a hot glue gun on a mechanical arm. I guess
it doesn't really say.
Well, the guy that melted down aluminum cans. Oh, I shouldn't. Not that company.
Oh, I don't think M. Gabriel wants to know. We'll just go 79%. I don't think it's going to matter because in the law it doesn't talk about 80%. 80% is just like a marketing term.
Yes.
So they're just going to say anything that once you think about it, it's easily convertible. So if you go buy a bunch of stuff at Home Depot to build a gun, they're going to be like, oh, easily convertible.
So if you're collecting your brass or collecting cans from a company because some guy melted them down in CNC or machined them into an AR-15 lower, so anybody that has a can of soda has something that's easily convertible and should be busted by the ATF?
If that's your intent to melt them down to make a firearm, they're going to say, yeah.
Dude, I have a lot of intents. Wait, if I was guilty for my intents, I would have been executed by now.
Well, in the ATF uses intent a lot.
Well, I know in New York, if you have your car keys in your hand or possession and are walking in the direction of your car while intoxicated, they can arrest you for DWI.
Yeah. That's intent, and ATF uses that a lot.
So I could have multiple intents.
Yeah, but the ATF. If the ATF is gonna ATF.
But what if I printed a whole bunch of guns on my 3D printer, but don't intend to print anymore?
Well, you don't have intent to print it anymore, so you're good to go with the ones you have. Well, I'm not sure if the federal. I know the Virginia one has a grandfather one, but I don't think that's going to pass. Federal law, I don't know if that's going to have a grandfather clause or not. It's definitely not going to have a grandfather clause if they're just going to change the definition.
There's a couple of problems. The first problem here is the 17th Amendment needs to be repealed. The second problem is the federal government is supposed to be subordinate to the states that created the federal government, and that's why they have the Second Amendment that says, hey, you guys don't control these things. We do.
You want to tell people why the 17th Amendment should be repealed, and 17th Amendment deals with senators.
No, there's this thing called Google, and people that watch the show should be smart enough and should already know what the 17th Amendment is. So the 17th Amendment was a change. So some states like Texas, their legislature only meets every other year. And the logic for the 17th Amendment was like, well, having the legislature appoint a senator or having the the governor appoint the senator could be too much, and it might leave vacancies. So why don't we have them directly elected? Now, the problem with that's why Congress consists of the House of Representatives and the Senate, and the congressmen are elected for 2 years because they're responsible to us and directly elected. And the Senate was supposed to represent the states, meaning the state legislatures. And that's why the state legislatures selected, as a republic, the senators. But the 17th Amendment changed that to a direct election. So now we basically have a federal government, which is screwing us. So the mechanics behind it. The reason you have the state select, appoint, and recall the senators is because if the senator isn't doing what the state wants, you get rid of the guy. I almost said a bad word. So if you can get rid of the senator, he knows that he's on short strings and can't do whatever the heck he wants. He has to do what his state wants because he's representing the state.
Yeah, I'm just trying to fix my camera. Yeah, they said, well, everything's different, man. The Supreme Court's role has changed.
Well, all right, so and correct me if I'm wrong, the Supreme Court was never supposed to legislate from the bench. They were supposed to say, this law isn't constitutional, go fish.
Yes. It was supposed to be like constitutional, not constitutional. Well,
somebody like...
Also, but you know, they did legislate from the bench. Like, do you know that there's nowhere in the Constitution or in any federal document or anything else that, I mean, I'm not saying that like I want to like a theocracy or anything, so don't jump on me for saying this.
But states can have religions.
Yeah. But yeah, and that was up until a Supreme Court justice, and the Supreme Court ruled. He's the one who said separation of church and state, and that was Hugo Black.
Yeah, there's no such thing as separation of church and state. Yeah. That's not true. It doesn't exist, and that infuriates me.
Do you know why Hugo Black said that? States can have not states, that there should be a separation of church and state.
Is it part of him being a racist?
He was a Klan member, and the Ku Klux Klan don't like Catholics, and he had a conspiracy theory that all the Catholics were working together to overthrow the government and put the Pope in charge.
So because we have these nuts in history, just like Sullivan, the Sullivan laws in New York were anti-gun, and that's because he had syphilis, and syphilis makes you paranoid. So that's why New York is so strict on gun laws. So it's amazing that because we have one defective person, that all of a sudden history has changed. And Hugo Black, great example of that. Yeah, people I can't stand. It's kind of like when people say yelling fire in a crowded theater. No, you can lawfully yell fire in a crowded theater. It's the call to action that's illegal. So if you yell fire in a crowded theater and there's a fire, that's okay. If you yell fire and people are hurt because there is no fire, you're liable. And that's the difference. Likewise, when people say separation of church and state, I'm like, show me where that exists. There's no such thing.
No, there's
not. Let's see, what is the actual law? It's that, First Amendment. It goes to that. So the First Amendment guarantees 5 rights. Can you name them, John?
Freedom of speech, religion, assembly. Speech, religion, assembly. What is that?
Dude, if you miss this one.
Dude, I know what it is. I'm screwing with you, man.
Okay.
Assembly, petition, government, free speech, religion, and press.
Press, yes. Okay. So
I was screwing with you.
Okay, all right. That was the one I was worried that you were going to miss because you're the only person that's a press person that I actually know.
Why? How would I miss that?
So Hugo Black was basing his separation of church and state on the First Amendment, but the First Amendment says that there shall be no laws regulating the practice of religion. And I know I'm paraphrasing very badly, but so yeah, when people, and it's unfortunate because at school we're taught that we have a democracy, and we're also taught separation of church and state, which again, bullcrap. And if that's so, how come they open Senate and Supreme Court sessions with prayer?
Exactly. What do you think of that one senator when he was being sworn in? He said "Amen" instead of saying
And a woman?
"Amen." He said "a woman."
Well, amen is it's Hebrew and it's an affirmation. It has
Yeah,
nothing to do with men.
yeah,
So Hebrew word, English, how we all understand it, is spelled amen. I'm sure it's very stylized in the Hebrew language. What do you call the written language in Hebrew? It's not Cyrillic, but
Sanskrit.
that's Russian. Anyhow, whatever it is. But yeah, it's just so stupid. These people are. I think it's a lack of education. If you're going to say amen in a woman, one doesn't have anything to do with the other. I mean, that's like a 2-year-old playground thing. That's not somebody that should be in the Senate. But then again, look who's representing us.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people out there. You got to remember, there was a guy that was afraid that by putting more troops on Guam, that the island was going to flip over.
Oh yeah. Oh God, what's his name? Frank. That's the best. He's like, don't you think? And the poor general.
Yeah, the general saying there, like, do I really have to explain this to this dumb son of a bee?
He's like, oh crap, this guy gives me funding. I can't curse him out.
He's like, we're pretty sure that's not going to happen.
Hank Johnson.
Hank Johnson, yeah, was afraid.
And he's like, no, I was making a joke. I was making when somebody, hey Hank, islands don't float like the Dr. Seuss movie from Disney.
He wasn't making a joke.
Well, I'm sure he was half asleep when they were talking plate tectonics and continents moving. So he thought they were just floating because the rest of the globe is blue.
How did these people get elected?
Sheila Jackson Lee. I'm just gonna sound like a racist because
no, I'm gonna say something about Sheila Jackson Lee. She looks like a 5-year-old on a Halloween dressing up as a cowboy.
Oh wait, we got one of those in Florida. Who's there's a congresswoman and she wears these like rhinestone cowboy hats. Like, so she's down by Miami or something like that.
Oh, that explains it. All the coke.
So hold on. This is one of my favorites. Where's the Wikipedia on Sheila Jackson Lee? Is this serious, man? It's going to House Gov. But apparently, I think Yale. Graduated Yale. Sheila Jackson Lee, I would like to see her thesis that she graduated Yale with, because
there's no way she graduated Yale.
It says so on the internet. I mean, this woman, and I believe she was a judge. Let me go to Wikipedia.
Did she get hit in the head sometime?
Sometime after she was so smart?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet if you would go to her.
An AR weighs 8 boxes.
Yeah, wait, an AR-15 weighs 50 pounds? What'd she say?
It's something like that, dude. I mean, I just get so frustrated with these lawmakers who have no idea what they're talking about.
Okay, all right. So she got her BA from Yale and her JD from University of Virginia. But I believe it looks like her Wikipedia site was edited. But I believe she was a judge.
I don't know, man. I don't know. All I know is she's I don't know. She must have had some type of bad car accident or something, and my heart goes out to her for her brain injury. I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty sure she had a brain injury.
So you think she had TBI?
I've had TBI, and that stuff is crap. Memory loss and everything. Ugh.
And memory loss and
Headaches.
everything.
Yeah, the headaches. It's not fun.
So some of these people, Hank Johnson, I mean, AOC, she graduated Boston University cum laude.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
Dude, I didn't graduate Suffolk Community College cum laude.
I just don't understand some of these people. And
I could explain how AOC graduated cum laude.
No, I don't want to be demonetized.
Oh my gosh! Could you imagine? I believe Sheila Jackson Lee was a judge. Could you imagine her being your judge? You'd be like, oh, just lock me up. You know?
You're like, is this real? I would rather have Judge Judy in Congress than Sheila Jackson Lee.
Who is it that said I'd rather be tried by the first 100 names in the Boston phone book?
I can't remember.
That's another famous saying. Yeah, God bless you.
Yeah, Judge Joe Brown. I would love to see him in Congress.
I've never met Dan. Well, actually, I like shaking his hand at book signings, but it's not like I've ever sat around and had coffee with him. Dan Bongino, he ran for Congress a couple of times. I'm like, I can't believe he didn't make it. And probably better for him. He's probably more influential and making more money now. But
yeah, I talked to Dan earlier on today, and no, I didn't talk to Dan. I'm just joking.
I see. You didn't
like. You're like, I can't believe you didn't really question that.
Wait a second. I know you talk to people higher up the food chain than Dan.
Yeah.
So if you said you were talking to him, I'd believe it. I just.
No, people just call me because I have information and I talk to everyone. I'm like an information warehouse. I'll tell Hank that I'm the YouTube whisperer.
Yes, yeah.
Because you know how many YouTubers call me a day for stories? A lot.
No, you don't give me your phone number, so I can't call you.
I'll give you my phone number. But like people like that like never talk to like people who are like if I say hey what's up, they're like oh hi, like they pretend like they don't know me. They call me up, hey John, any big stories coming up I can make a video on?
Really? It's like do your own homework,
dude. I've had people who've bashed me on social media for stuff. Turn around and call me. Remember the whole brace thing when I said, hey, this brace stuff is going to come down?
Right.
And people were like, oh, it's clickbait, blah, blah, blah. It's all made up and stuff. Once it all came down, they were like, hey, can you give me some insight into this? I'm like,
read between the lines.
I'm like, no. Then I gave it to Hank, and I gave it to Reno May, and Sierra.
Wait, I think I was at Hank's. I was at the Hacienda when you called Hank.
Yeah. I call Hank a lot with some stuff that I can't even go on. I can't really talk about. And you've been there.
Yeah, I think I was just leaving. And it's like, oh, hey, you want to tell Rich? And he puts you on speaker.
Yeah. I remember one time I was talking to Hank, and he was like, who gave you this information? And I told him who gave it to me. And Lola was there, and Lola was like, you need to lead with that. Not going to say who it was.
Well, that's like when you have a plane crash, the way you say call people, like your wife, is like, hi, honey, I'm fine. I just crashed my plane. You always say, hi, I'm fine. You don't say, I just crashed my plane to anybody. You always. So I've learned that. I think I did that on the first.
How many times have you crashed your plane?
Well, if if you don't count brake failures, and not that I ever, well, did I? No, I didn't hit anything with a brake failure, but yeah, I was able to keep the plane on the runway with the brake failures. But yeah, twice.
The second time, how'd you crash it?
Canopy flew open, stuff went through the propeller, took about a foot off the blade of the prop, and I made an emergency landing on a highway. I hit a speed limit sign, stop sign, and the back of somebody's car. They're in the left lane. I was landing in the right lane.
Were they in the car?
Yeah, there were like 6 people in the car.
Dude, that had to scare the hell out of them.
Well, it shattered the rear windshield. I don't even think anybody had a scrape from that. You know, a minor cut. But you know how car windshields become like little bits.
That is hilarious, VA Wolf. See, look. I'm sitting on a couple big stories right now that I'm working angles on.
See, I'm fairly certain that you know more than you can actually talk about because it would give away your source.
Yeah, I can't say a lot. There are certain things that I know that I really would like to report on, but it would actually out my sources.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't.
Well, so I don't know if you're familiar with this World War II code breaking thing, and so usually there's code within code. So the Japanese had code words for the different islands, and even though we had broken their encryption, which was based on like a rotary phone, I forgot how the background on that story, but that's the part I remember. But they still had a code word for the island, and they're pretty sure it was Guam. So they leaked that they had a water shortage on Guam, and then that was transmitted in the Japanese code. So they saw a water shortage in the code name for the island. So they knew what the code name of the island was for Guam. And that's what I call poisoning the data stream.
Yeah,
so if you have access to data, you don't want to be susceptible to the data stream being poisoned.
Yeah, a lot of the documents that I have that I don't share because we're not sure if it's poisoned or not. People get kind of upset at me when I'm like, well, can you give us the documents? I'm like, no.
No,
like,
because there might be something distinct.
I'm telling you what's in it. But what they would do is, 'cause I know they're looking for my sources. I know that for a fact. What they would do is they will change a certain sentence or a certain word in a paragraph. So everyone would have like a certain, like a different font for a certain character, and then when they see it online, they can look and go, "Oh, we know who it is now."
Right. Yeah.
And
so
me, that would suck for me because I would lose my source, but for them, they're going to need some legal counsel.
Right. And so you want to protect your sources by not giving too much information out.
Exactly. It sucks that I can't release everything, but it's just the way it is. And I got to protect my forces because, you know, they fed me a lot of information. All of them have. And so, then go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to go off on a tangent. So.
All right, go ahead. Go off on a tangent.
Now, how do you think that's going to market for the Genesis G80? I mean,
Oh, you mean the wrecking of Tiger Woods?
Wait, the G80, I'm looking at that. That's a sedan. It's something else.
GV80, you're talking about.
GV80.
Mm-hmm. He wrecked it. There was actually, what really sucked is, like, Genesis was pumping up this picture that somebody had with that they showed him with the G80. But Genesis was like, "Oh, look who drove a GV80."
Ouch. Yeah, they probably gave that to him. So is that the twin turbo V6 or
it's a twin turbo V6, yes.
I'm surprised. I mean, they have a decent 8-cylinder. I'm surprised they're not using. Then again, the gas mileage.
Yeah. Oh my God. Dude, I gotta show you this. This is bad for Genesis. Uh, hold on, let me just bring this up.
So before they broke out into the Genesis line, everything was sold at Hyundai, and they had the Equus, which was like a Maybach, and it was beautiful.
Oh yeah.
But I think the entry price on one of those was over 60.
Oh, hold on, let me take this down. He had a big Genesis logo on the side of his car. If you don't know, I'm a huge Genesis fan.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have the pre-Genesis Genesis. I have the Genesis Coupe, so it's still a Hyundai.
The coupe is awesome. Yeah, let me show you this really quick here. And then don't have much time left, but I definitely want to get this out. Check this out, man. Where is it? But yeah, look. Is that a bad picture for Genesis?
Wow. I mean, it looks like airbags went off and all that.
Yeah, so at least it saved them, but still, you don't want to
But
have that on there.
I'm a little surprised. I don't think that's a body on frame design. I think it's a unibody design.
It is a unibody design.
Yeah, unfortunately, the crumble zones, it seems as though it might have crumbled too far.
Yeah,
And
it seemed.
resulted in the leg injuries. That's again, no vehicle is going to be 100% protective. That's a given, unless you're like even Formula One racing when you have a carbon fiber monocoque.
Oh yeah.
But I'll tell you, the Genesis are great cars. In Hyundais and the Kias too. Let's just it's the same manufacturer basically.
Yeah, well, they're already. I guess Tiger Woods is already spinning it for Genesis. He's saying the Genesis G80, GV80 saved my life.
Oh, okay.
I wonder how much he got paid to say that.
He knew he was going to get paid when he said that.
Talking about Genesis before we get out of here, what do you think about Genesis? They hire all the people from the B&W M, right?
Oh, you mean design team and stuff like that, and
Yeah, the
engineers?
Bierman, yeah.
Yeah, and actually, let's see. The Kia Stinger was headed up by a guy from Audi.
Yeah, well, I guess, yeah. So they have like the Audi performance team and the BMW performance team now
Mm-hmm.
working together.
Look,
They're rated both. What do you think of that?
So I think you get tremendous value for the dollar on those products.
The
The
people
only two.
designing them are like top engineers. I mean, the whole Audi, they have the guys that designed the R8 and the guy that did all the M cars.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got those two teams, and now they're working for freaking Hyundai. It's crazy, right?
Yep. Yeah, well, that's how the market works. I mean, look, Silicon Valley does the same thing. They poach the top people from other organizations.
Yeah, I just can't believe that they're spinning this.
Well, the only thing I would say is, let me just not go there.
What's that?
No, I'm just bad. There's some things you just got to keep locked up.
Yeah, here's a picture for you. After this picture, we're gonna get going because I gotta run. I gotta
Yeah,
run. But let me just show.
believe it or not,
show
work wants more of me. So
yeah, well, you get the back, but this was a few days ago. Didn't age well.
yeah.
It's him getting into his car. It was
Well, they don't
Genesis.
have pimped out calipers. You know, they don't have the pimped out Brembo
No,
calipers.
they don't have Brembos on the GV80.
Oh, I just got a reprieve. They said, oh, I don't have to do something right now.
Right. Yeah, they don't have calipers on the GV80.
Yeah, I just see, you know, standard aluminum-ish colored.
Yeah, the Brembos are awesome, man. I mean, I love my Genesis. I do.
That has Brembos on it, right?
Yes, it does.
You're getting Best Buy popping up.
Yeah, that delivered today. This is I told you what happened, right?
Your
Best
refrigerator
Buy.
got delivered to somebody else's house?
No, they shipped one of my products up to one of the other houses. To some, I have no idea where they shipped it to or where they even got this address because it's not in my on my thing. And I have no idea who lives there. And they're like, "Well, just go get it." I'm like, one, I have COVID. Two, I'm not going to a stranger's house saying, "Hey, I got my package delivered here." Because if I did that, they would be like, "Okay, hold on, please. There's some dude here that had a package delivered here. I think it might be
But,
grown."
you know, I've gotten packages for somebody else, and I've looked them up and, you know, called them. It was actually a business, and I'm like, hey man, I got this. You know, it was like all the intersections that you would use to make a greenhouse out of like EMT. So it's like super heavy box, and I'm like, oh, he doesn't want this going back, and he doesn't want to lose this. And I, you know, pulled out the receipt because it was taped on it, you know, in that plastic envelope type thing. And I found the phone number, and I'm like, hey, I got a box for you. It's at my address.
Well, this one was in like a totally different town.
That's a real foobar.
And I'm like, I'm not gonna drive to a different town to pick up a package that I don't know who lives there. What the hell am I gonna say? So then they had it redirected to I had it redirected to a UPS store, and the UPS store's like, "Well, you need to come pick it up." I'm like, "I have freaking COVID. I can't pick it up." They're like, "Well, then we're gonna ship it back." I'm like, "Ship it back." And Best Buy's supposed to ship me a new one. But whatever. I don't know, but I'm gonna have to run because I'm freaking gonna go punch Best Buy in the head. Thank you for coming on. Watch me at Crumpy. Check out my stuff at Crumpy.com. I got an article dropping at 7 p.m. over at Ammoland. And with that, Rich, you have the final word. The show
Yeah, just
ended on a down spiral because I'm just.
you can.
I think COVID's finally starting to kick in here.
Yeah, just monitor your temperature. Don't end up like me with pneumonia.
Yeah.
So follow me, flyingrich.com, Flying Rich everywhere, even MySpace. I am out there on just about every kind of social media possible.
All right. With that said, we'll see you tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe you will. Maybe you won't. I got a video dropping tomorrow though. So that should be good. And another article dropping tomorrow on mln.com. Always check me out. And remember, stay ever vigilant, stay ever free, keep in the fight, and Rich is bald. Hold on for 1 second, Rich.
Okay.